All right, Shakir, let's begin the interview.
Yes, sir.
Are you comfortable with English or should we skip to some other language?
Yes, I am comfortable with English, sir.
All right. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Shakirul Islam. I am from Chalairi Sharif town of district Badgam. Sir, I have done my schooling from local school of Sheikh Lalam Model High School, Chalairi Sharif. My 12th from Government Boys Higher Secondary School. And I have done my graduation in engineering from Hindustan Aviation Academy in aerospace. After that, I have worked in AI SATs as a turnaround coordinator for around 8 months. And then I started preparing for civil services in 2017, later in 2017.
So it's been close to 5 years since you have
Yes,
left
sir.
your job. You have started the preparation for civil services.
Yes,
Why do
sir.
you? What are you lacking? What is the problem with your preparation? Why are you not able to
So
join?
actually, I started preparing early 2017, but I had some health issues, so I had abandoned preparation at that time. Actually, I started preparation I have started preparation in 2019, and then that lockdowns and all that abrogation of Article 370. So there was no internet connection because I had purchased some online courses and I couldn't pursue that. I couldn't complete that. So that was the reason. Yes, I couldn't. I started the preparation, but I couldn't uh, finish it.
Okay. So
Yes.
what was the recently Supreme Court's judgment regarding internet blockages in India?
Yes, sir. In this Supreme Court judgment, Supreme Court has said that right to internet is a fundamental right under Article 90. And Sir, the Supreme Court had said that if the government wants to put any internet ban, there should be a panel of three members who will suggest the measures which should be taken by the government before the internet is banned.
Okay. Please continue.
Actually, sir, in the Supreme Court had said that right to freedom of expression is integral to the Constitution and it cannot be taken away in any way. In any way, and but the Supreme Court also said in that judgment that right to do business over internet also a fundamental right of the people. So it cannot be abrogated easily. Even only it should be taken away only if there's a threat to the security of the state or anything like that.
But you can see that even after the Supreme Court's judgment, there are continuous blockages in the internet. What do you think is the government stand on that?
Sir, I think government has done according to the Supreme Court's judgment. Supreme Court had advised government to form a panel, and the panel was formed, and the panel itself had referred to the government, to the Home Ministry, to increase to do the blockades so that the public order is maintained. Particularly in Kashmir, it was also seen in northeastern parts of India where there were some apprehensions that the law and order might go out of the hand. It was done only to prevent the law and order situation, but it should not be. I think it should not be prolonged so that it affects the basic fundamentals of the fundamental rights of the citizens. It should be done in a controlled manner. Only those districts, only those places should be cut off if necessary, not the whole state, not whole district like that, because it affects the economic activity also of that district or that state, education, health, everything. We know everything is digital right now these days. So if the internet's cut off, it means that we are depriving thousands of people of their basic rights.
आप देखते हैं ऑलमोस्ट बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स में, बहुत सारे लेजिस्लेशंस में द वर्ड पब्लिक ऑर्डर इज मेंशन्ड, और पब्लिक ऑर्डर
Yes,
लिखा जाता है कि अगर कोई चीज पब्लिक ऑर्डर को डिस्टर्ब करेगी तो उस चीज पे बैन लगाई जा सकती है, उस चीज पे रिस्ट्रिक्शन लगाई जा सकती है। आपको लगता है कि
yes.
पब्लिक ऑर्डर जो है काफी एम्बिगस टर्मिनोलॉजी यूज कर रही की जा रही है पार्लियामेंट के द्वारा, जिसमें जिसकी इंटरप्रिटेशन सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट ही कर सकता है?
सर बिल्कुल किसी न किसी हद तक सर जो जो वर्ड ये पब्लिक ऑर्डर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में यूज किया गया है सर, बहुत सारी गवर्नमेंट्स ने अपने-अपने फ़ायदे के लिए अपने-अपने हिसाब से इस वर्ड को यूज़ किया है टू देयर एडवांटेज और अगर कभी उनको लोगों के हकूक छीनने मतलब लोग के हक भी छिन जाते हैं, तो वो इस वर्ड का इस्तेमाल करके उसको एक तरीके से अपने काम को बता दिए कि उन्होंने सही किया, कोई गलत नहीं किया है। एम्बिगस है सर ये वर्ड बहुत सारी जो अभी तक जितनी भी एआरसी जो है सेकंड एआरसी में भी बहुत सारी रिकमेंडेशन आई है कि जितनी भी एम्बिग्यूटी हो लॉज़ में उन सबको जो है दूर करना चाहिए गवर्नमेंट को जो भी है लेजिस्लेचर को। पर सर हो नहीं रहा है अभी क्योंकि अगर ये जो पब्लिक ऑर्डर वर्ड जो यूज़ करते हैं, इसका मतलब यूजुअली है कि लोगों के बीच में जो चीज़ें हैं मतलब वो सही रहे। जो कुछ भी लॉ एंड ऑर्डर हो फ्रेटर्निटी हो, इंटीग्रिटी हो, वो सब सेव करके वो सब उस सब को बचाने के लिए ही ये वर्ड यूज़ किया गया है। मगर पर गवर्नमेंट्स ने ही इस वर्ड को कभी ना क मतलब बहुत बार सर गलत इस्तेमाल हुआ है इसका। और हो भी रहा है। इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि इसको और अच्छे तरीके से डिफाइन करना चाहिए मतलब ऑब्जेक्टिव होना चाहिए। ऐसे ही न कोई भी वर्ड एक वर्ड जो किसी भी सिचुएशन में यूज़ किया जाए, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। जो जितनी भी सिचुएशंस हो जहाँ पर मतलब हम इस्तेमाल कर सकें तो वो ऑब्जेक्टिव होने चाहिए और सर एक्सप्लेन होने चाहिए
तो
कि
आपको
कैसे क्या है।
आपको क्यों लगता है कि लेजिस्लेशंस में वो एम्बिग्यूटी क्यों रखते हैं?
सर एक्चुअली एक मसला ये भी है कि ज बोलते हैं कि जो हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, उसमें जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेकर्स थे, उसमें से मैक्सिमम लोग सर लॉयर्स थे। एक तो जो लैंग्वेज बैरियर भी एक इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि लैंग्वेज बैरियर है लोगों के बीच में और जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जिन्होंने लिखा हुआ है, तो उसको समझना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है एक
चलो
आम इंसान के
कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन
और
पर तो आप ठीक बोल रहे हैं पर जैसे रिसेंटली यूएपीए है, उसके अकॉर्डिंग भी काफ़ी सारे लोगों को बंद किया जा रहा है। तो यूएपीए में
बिल्कुल।
भी वर्ड पब्लिक ऑर्डर इज़ मेंशन्ड। तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में चलो लॉयर्स थे पर अभी क्या प्रॉब्लम है इस वक़्त?
सर कहीं न कहीं गवर्नमेंट्स जो है वो टू टेक द एडवांटेज वो इन सब वर्ड्स का इस्तेमाल करते हैं सर। मीन्स वी डोंट नो कब फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल जब इमरजेंसी ये हुई थी, जब इमरजेंसी लगी थी पहली बार इंडिया में, तब भी तब भी पूरे जो ये थे, वो सारे सब लोग सहमत नहीं थे उससे, जब इमरजेंसी लगी थी। तब गवर्नमेंट ऐसे ही वर्ड, ऐसे ही जो फ्रेज़ेज़ का जो इस्तेमाल हुआ था कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, उन्हीं का इस्तेमाल करके वो सारी चीज़ें नाफ़िज़ हुई है तब भी।
तो क्या ये
सर
कहा जा
इससे
सकता है कि गवर्नमेंट लॉज़ में लूपहोल्स ढूँढ के लोगों को एक्सप्लॉइट करने की कोशिश करती है?
सर एक्सप्लॉइट नहीं करती है, ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते कि एक्सप्लॉइट कर रही है, पर हम ये बोल सकते हैं कि लूप होल्स निकलते हैं क्योंकि जब भी लूप होल्स निकलते हैं, तो गवर्नमेंट कहीं न कहीं अपने एडवांटेज के लिए उसको यूज़ करती है सर।
कैन यू गिव अ रीसेंट एग्जांपल कि ऐसा कब हुआ है कि गवर्नमेंट इस प्रेजेंट रेजिम ने लॉज़ के अंदर लूपहोल्स को इस्तेमाल करके कोई एक्सप्लॉइट या किसी तरीके की एडवांटेज हासिल की हो?
सर अभी रिसेंट एक एग्ज़ाम्पल बता सकता हूँ मैं सर फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल जो हमारा डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन है सर। सर, अभी जो डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन की रिपोर्ट आ रही है सर, मैं देख रहा हूँ कि जितने भी न्यूज़पेपर रिपोर्ट्स हैं, वो सब ये बता रहे हैं कि डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन ने जो भी रिकमेंडेशंस की है, वो गेरीमैंडरिंग कर रही है। वो कहीं न कहीं पे अभी जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो पावर में है, उसके हिसाब से चल रही है। हालाँकि बोला जाता है कि पॉलिटिकल डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन इंडिपेंडेंट ऑटोनॉमस बॉडी होती है। पर कहीं न कहीं जिस तरीके से जो रिकमेंडेशंस अभी आई है और जो अपोज़िशन पार्टीज़ का जो कमेंट्स उस पे आए हैं, तो उनका मानना ये है कि सर कि वो जो अभी डिलिमिटेशन हुई है, वो डेमोग्राफी को चेंज किया जा रहा है टू द एडवांटेज ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल पार्टी इन द पावर राइट
आपका
नाउ।
ओपिनियन क्या है उस पे?
क्या सर?
आपका खुद का ओपिनियन क्या है उस पे?
सर अभी अपना ओपिनियन मेरा अभी कोई ओपिनियन नहीं है अभी तक क्योंकि अभी जो रिकमेंडेशंस जाने वाली है पार्टीज़ की अगर उन रिकमेंडेशंस को कंसीडर करने के बाद अगर डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन अपनी कुछ चेंजेस लेके आती है, वो देखना बाकी है। वो सब देखने के बाद ही सर आपको ओपिनियन दे सकता हूँ मैं सर।
आपने फ्रेटरनिटी, इंटीग्रिटी की बात की। क्या बता सकते हैं कि इंटीग्रिटी जो वर्ड है, ये कब ऐड हुआ था कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में के प्रेम्बल में?
सर इंटीग्रिटी 42nd कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट एक्ट से ऐड हुआ था सर और सोशलिस्ट और इंटीग्रिटी अ,
क्या उससे पहले इंडिया में सोशलिज्म नहीं था?
सर एक्चुअली सोशलिज्म तो था इंडिया में, पर वो एक मतलब जो पहले से सोशलिज्म था उसको और भी स्ट्रॉन्ग करने के लिए जो वर्ड इस्तेमाल किया गया है सर। वो अदरवाइज़ जो इंडिया की इकोनॉमी है वो सोशलिस्टिक ही रही है। प्लानिंग के साथ ही उन्होंने मतलब जो प्लानिंग जो ली हुई है हमने यूएसएसआर से तो प्रेज़ेंट रशिया से, तो उससे ही पता चलता है पहले से ही हमारी कंट्री जो है सोशलिस्टिक प्रिंसिपल्स पे चल रही है। पर इसका मकसद सिर्फ़ इतना था कि इसको और भी स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाया जाए क्योंकि अगर हमारी प्रिएम्बल में ये हो जाता है तो एक तरीके से इट विल बी अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी, इट विल बी अ प्रिंसिपल ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी अपॉन द गवर्नमेंट्स टू डू थिंग्स that are
So,
socialistic in nature.
what are the basic principles of socialism? Just give me three basic principles of socialism.
So socialism ke the three principles of socialism I can say is first that the property is not state owned. The property is state owned, and the profits or the resources should be utilized for the benefit of each and everyone, and there should not be any class difference between this in the seasons.
Okay. As you said that we took the concept of socialism from erstwhile USSR. What is the
Yes, sir.
what is the main difference between the socialism of USSR and the socialism that India adopted? What is the main difference?
The main difference lies सर जो सोशलिज्म यूएसएसआर का है सर उसमें जो सब कुछ जो है स्टेट कंट्रोल करती है कि क्या बनेगा कब बनेगा कैसे बनेगा और कैसे कितने पैसों में बेचा जाएगा सर everything is decided by the state whereas in the socialism we have adopted it's not that extreme हम सिर्फ उस उन चीज़ों को उन चीज़ों में सोशलिज़्म का आइडिया डालते हैं सर, जहाँ पर जो प्राइवेट कंपनीज़ है, लोगों को वो चीज़ें नहीं पहुँचा सकते, वो चीज़ें सर स्टेट करती है। फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम देख लीजिए, अगर अगर हम प्राइवेट कंपनीज़ के ऊपर ये डाल दें तो हमें प्राइवेट कंपनीज़ का जो प्रिंसिपल प्रॉफिट होता है, तो उस तरीके से बहुत सारे लोग भूखे मर सकते हैं। जो बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स है, उनमें सर हमने सोशलिज़्म का मॉडल अपनाया हुआ है सर।
Okay. So, according to you, capitalism or market economies cannot ensure food security.
Yes, in a country like India, they cannot. They can, but it's very difficult. We cannot rely on them
So, you think
because we,
before 1929's depression of United States, until then, United States was a market economy. Do you think that there was a problem of food security in United States after 1777 till 1929?
so I'm not saying because one can say that those countries got freedom much earlier. They were developed much earlier than India, and the population was also very low. So I can say maybe there would not have been any food security problem. But looking at the population of India right from 1950, if it was not 130 crores, even it was 50 crores, at that moment of time, it was still a populous country than other countries. So, and the exploitation done by the Britishers at that time, we couldn't have relied on the private sector solely because we knew that
You talked
people
about
were,
socialism and planning in India. Can
yes,
you
sir.
tell me that since we have stopped the planning now after the Niti Aayog came into existence and after the dissolution of Planning Commission, and now
Yes, sir.
there are no 5-year plans in India, do you think that we are actually compromising on our socialistic principles?
I cannot say that we are compromising on socialistic principle, but the thing is, Niti Aayog is doing long-term plans. The only thing we are not doing right now is the 5-year plan which we used to follow religiously right from 1950, barring some 2-3 times. The Niti Aayog is doing long-term plans, and they are also having Niti Aayog has been made to increase the cooperative federalism in India, which was absent in at the time of planning commission, because majorly the decisions were taken by the center, and the states had very less role, very
If there was
marginal role in that.
if Niti Aayog is working on the lines of cooperative federalism, then
Yes,
why
sir.
was NDC created? What was the role of NDC?
Sir, please repeat the question.
If Niti Aayog is the one which is working on cooperative federalism, What was the
Yes.
role of NDC then, National Development Council?
Yes, the National Development Council was also made for the same purpose. But I'm saying that Niti Ayog's main reason, the philosophy behind forming Niti Ayog, and the government has said that they want to increase the cooperative federalism, and that is the way forward for India. It was there also before, but there had always been problems. For example, in the constitution itself, we had Article 263 for interstate councils, but those provisions of the constitution were seldom used by the central government. We can say, I have read somewhere that the planning commission and the NDC was hijacked by the center, and the states were not given their due share in planning these
What
their.
was it was Jawaharlal Nehru's um, opinion about planning commission just before his death in 1960s?
Sorry, sir, I don't know about that.
Can you name one Western market economy that became the first country to adopt national planning?
Yes, sorry, sir, I cannot remember.
Okay.
Cannot recall.
All right. Are you aware of the Maharana Strategy?
Malhano, yes, sir.
What is that?
So actually, he said that we have to develop our industries, large-scale industries first, and from that, the development of the India will start.
Okay. So can we say that he advocated for unbalanced growth strategy?
So actually, if we see at the resources available in India, and if we go by the principles which are demanded by them, we can say that it led to the unbalanced development because states where there were resources available got
No, no,
funding, and but
my question is not about how it, what was the impact of it. I'm saying that
yes,
is the strategy known as unbalanced growth strategy or was it a balanced growth strategy? Are you aware of the terms?
so I am not aware of the terms.
Okay.
Sorry, sir.
What is the what is the view of Amartya Sen on how should we look at development in India?
So Amartya Sen emphasizes on inclusive development. He said he says human development is the mainstay of his concept. He says that if the human resources are developed, the further we can reap the benefits of the all over development, the overall development of people. Is it emancipates from human development? He lays emphasis on human development.
Was there is there a difference of opinion between Amartya Sen and a leading economist by the name of Jagdish Bhagwati? Is there any controversy or any difference of opinion?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
Okay. Amartya Sen also is regarded as one of those economists that helped in the creation of HDI, that is Human Development Index, along with Mahbubul Haq.
Yes, sir.
HDI is given in the SDR report, the Human Development Report. Can you
Yes,
name
sir.
the other indices that are mentioned in the HDR?
Sir, I think right now HDI has been replaced by pressure adjusted HDI in the Sustainable Development Report recently, and a multi poverty index. I guess I'm not fully aware. I'm making a guess, and environmental impact index. No, environmental impact, not
What
environmental
about
risk.
planetary pressure HDI?
So actually, it takes into account the pressure, the effect of the human population or the population on the planet. For example, amount of carbon dioxide released in the atmosphere by the, and it has changed the game. Actually, the countries which are very high in HDI after the planetary pressure is adjusted, they have came down on a few places lower in this list. But in case of India, it has not changed that much because India is when we take into account the per capita carbon dioxide emission, it comes down low, so it has not affected India's HDI index. that much.
Okay. What are carbon credits?
Yes, actually, carbon credits are when a company or an industry if it improves its technology so that the carbon dioxide emission is reduced. It can use those. It can use. It can be used to trade. It can be used for trade. For example, if a company A is emitting an excess of carbon dioxide and company B is not doing that, it's emitting a less amount of carbon dioxide. So company A can take the company B can sell its credits to the company A so that it can show in the records that it has emitted the carbon dioxide in within the limits set by the countries. So in that way, it will improve the emission rate of the industries as
Can
well
you
as countries.
can you tell me under emissions trading there is a concept of joint implementation? Can you elaborate on that?
Sorry, sir, I don't know about that. Joint implementation.
All right, Shakir, as I can see that you have a BTech in aerospace engineering,
Yes,
and
sir.
you must be aware of the concepts of aerospace engineering. Can you tell me what are the different kinds of propulsion technologies that we have?
So we have solid rocket propulsion, we have liquid rocket propulsion, we have cryogenics, which we usually use to put these type of emissions are used in rockets as well as missiles. And then we have plasma, and we have electric ion propulsion and different much more, but they are used. Their ISP is very low. They produce very less thrust, so that they are used. One is the satellites is put in the orbit for maneuvering, etc.
Okay.
Mainly, we use three types of propulsion system.
So there is one more which is quite prominent in Russia. They call it hybrid propulsion. Are you aware of that?
Yes, a hybrid propulsion.
What do we do in that?
Where so actually we use both solid as well as liquid in that. In hybrid propulsion, we use both the type of fuels.
So what is the benefit of using both the type of fuels?
So it will give, for example, if we use only solid propulsion, we cannot control the combustion. Once the fuel is combusted, it will stop only after it ends. But in case of hybrid propulsions, we can use staging. For example, if we use solid for the initial phase, then we can use liquid, and we can control the amount of thrust produced during the flight.
In GSLV Mark III, which is India's strongest rocket,
Yes, sir.
we solid in the first stage and cryogenic in
Yes.
the last stage. Can you tell me why solid is used in the first stage?
So there are a number of things which are taken into consideration. For example, we use solid rocket boosters. They are easy to manufacture as compared. They are easy and they have no movable parts. And the amount of thrust produced is also good. It's not that low. And later we use cryogenics because the performance, we can say that the amount of thrust produced is not that much, but the performance is very high, which is required at the later stage of the launch.
What kind of performance are you talking about?
So I'm talking about ISP, that we call it ISP. It's the amount of thrust produced for the amount of propulsion used, amount of
But
thrust produced by.
we don't need much thrust higher in the vacuum of space. Then why do we use cryogenic there? Because cryogenic has a high specific impulse. Why do
Yeah.
we use cryogenic up there? Because we don't need a high thrust there. Because solid can do the job.
Yes, sir, that's true.
Then why do we use cryogenic?
Sorry, sir, I cannot recall right now.
Okay. You must be aware that uh, when we when we actually launch the satellites into space and into various
Yes.
orbits that we then the launch base from where the satellite is launched. launch base is actually chosen, that base is chosen which is close to the equator. Can you give me
Yes.
two reasons why equator, close to equator, is a good location for the launch?
So actually, it's about the first first reason is that equators the okay the gravity value is less as compared to the other places. Maybe if you go from equator to the poles, the gravity increases, the value of the g increases. One reason is that, and other reasons I don't know, but if you allow me, I can make a informed guess. I think uh, sorry sir, I cannot recall right now.
Okay. There is a higher rotational speed of the Earth.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you name the orbits that we have from the lower Earth orbit to the higher altitudes?
Yes, we have two types of orbits in LEO, low Earth orbit. One is polar orbit, and second is and sun synchronous orbit, which is a part of polar orbit. Then we have medium Earth orbit, and in that comes subsynchronous orbit, and then we have the geosynchronous orbit and geostationary orbit, and we have also GTO, which is why satellites are placed before they are put into the GSO.
So what is Hoffman transfer orbit?
I think it's used for interplanetary missions.
Interplanetary missions.
Yes,
Are you sure?
no, not interplanetary. No, it's used for GSO. GSO orbits is a highly elliptical orbit that the satellites are part, and then the satellites' indigenous thrusters are used to put them into the GSO.
Okay. What are the problems? As you can see that humans are at maximum, they can go to the lower Earth orbit. We have the International Space Station at an altitude of 400 kilometers from above the sea level. What are the problems?
Yes.
Why are we not getting back to the moon, or why are we not even able to leave the lower Earth orbit to go to the higher altitudes?
So first, I think International Space Station's main objective is to observe the Earth. That will be done way close to the Earth only. But when you are saying that why are we going back to moon, I think the Artemis mission is just going to get launched into the 23. We are going back to the moon. It will be the first women's crew of NASA that will land on the south pole of the moon. And also we are in the initial phase of human missions, and we are sending a three crewed module into the lower Earth orbit using Gaganyaan in the Gaganyaan mission.
So if it is, Gaganyaan mission has just an altitude of 60 to 70, 80 kilometers. So it will not be leaving, it will not even go to the lower Earth orbit. But the thing is, it's been 50 years since we landed on the moon.
Yes,
And
sir.
what are the problems that the NASA or the other space agencies are facing in reaching these heavenly bodies?
Sir, actually, there's a. I can think of a reason that when NASA sent the first first human crew to the moon, it was actually a kind of space race happening between the Russia and USA. So I do. I think they didn't find it economical or useful to send another human mission to the moon right after that. And besides, we had a failure, Apollo mission failure, in which one of the Indian origin scientists got killed. So that were they were still, they backtracked the progress, and now we have worked on reusable launch vehicles like SpaceX is using. So they are trying to make the it more affordable, and I think in future we will be sending more missions to the moon.
So you're saying that there were some accidents and because of, and it was not economical because of that NASA
Yes, this
gave
is
up the idea.
what I. This is just my opinion. I don't really know the real reason. This is what I can
But,
think of right now.
but we can see that NASA is the only space agency on the face of the Earth that has been able to land a person on the moon. we have a very sophisticated Russian space agency and the Chinese space agency and the JAXA and the Canadian space agency, even the European space agency. None of the
Yes.
space agencies have been able to achieve this feat. Do you think that the other Russia, which is the country that actually got the first person into the space, do you think they
Yes.
don't have the technology to go to the moon?
So actually, they have the technology. It's not that they don't have the technology. All of these, I think, all of these the space agencies you just named have the technology with them. But I think it's not economical. The economy, the state of the economy in Russia right now is not that they can. There should be a purpose also, sir.
But
I don't.
there is now a purpose after United States has heavily funded the program, Artemis program, and the main reason, even before that, we had the Dark mission. We are moving towards asteroid mining and space mining, and there are unlimited resources in the universe, even in our own solar system. So there can be an economic angle to that. And China, which has a solid foundation, economic foundations, can even fund these projects. So do you think that there is a problem of economics, there is a problem of technology, or there is a problem of political will? What is the main issue?
Sir, I think as far as USA is considered, USA is going for these space missions, and they will increase the number of space missions in future also. They have the technology, they have the money also. But I'm talking about the state of economy of Russia. Russia itself is not in a position to build very high sophisticated rockets when their economy is not in good shape right now. As far as China is considered, they are already working on the their own international space station, and they have already started assembling that. I think uh, China was behind the Russia in the technology, but they are not catching up with them, and they will definitely send some of
Does,
their.
does US or does NASA have a fully functional RLV right now?
No, sir. It doesn't have its own RLB. SpaceX has this RLB, reusable launch vehicle, only with SpaceX right now. We have
But
had
they,
demonstrated and commercially operated one is with SpaceX. NASA has one. I don't know whether they have commissioned any satellite with that rocket. That I don't know, but I know they are working on it. Even India is working on RLVs right now.
okay, all right. Okay, Shakir. Now let's get to your job as an assistant registrar. Can you tell me, you'll be working at the block level if you're selected as an assistant registrar? What are the various initiatives that you will take to increase the influx of cooperative societies in your area?
So I think the first and the most important thing which I will be doing if I am selected as an assistant registrar is that I will increase the information about the cooperatives. And personally, I think that's lacking right now. Nobody knows
How would you
about the
do that?
cooperatives that much.
How would
If
you do
I will use internet first of all. Internet is the one of the best thing that has happened to the people if we use it properly. Second, I can use advertisements on radios or TVs, or we can have programs. For example, we can go to colleges and schools where we can spread this information about the cooperatives and how they can help people live with dignity. I think so. Personally, I feel that there's a lack of information about cooperatives. People don't know much about them.
do you
In my
think
area,
yes, please continue.
I think in my area, even because I read about cooperatives, and one of the objectives I can see everywhere is written that to to help the farmers to get out of the clutch of the money lenders. But I can still say I belong to a district which is not famous for, but my town is famous for, and the surrounding villages are famous for fruit, apple. But I see most of them doing the business the same old way. 50 years back, if we go 50 years back, and now there hasn't been any change. For example, that mediators will charge you to a first of interest every time, and even after taking loans from banks, they have to pay once. They have to pay to the mediator, as well as they have to pay to the banks also. So I think if people are informed about the objectives as well as the benefits of being in cooperative, their participation will definitely increase.
Okay. Can you give me the organizational structure of the cooperative department in JK?
So first of all, right now we have advisor to the Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Farooq Khan, sir. Then we have the Secretary of the State, that is Miss Yasha Mudgal. Then we have a special secretary, Rachna, Miss Rachna, and then we have under secretaries below that, and accounts officer also. And in case of registrar, it's the registrar at the state level, then joint registrar at the division level, and deputy registrar at the district level, and then assistant registrar at the block level.
Okay, government has launched various schemes in the cooperative sector in Jammu Kashmir precisely.
Yes.
Can you name schemes as well as their performance?
So I think government of Jammu and Kashmir was in default with the NCDC. After that default was cleared, IC integrated cooperative development projects were implemented in two districts, Anantnag and I guess Kathua. And then most of the money that had been disbursed has been used in those programs. And then we had poultry development programs, and in which around 2,000 crores were used. And then we have one of the government of India's flagship program, Krishi Vikas Yojana. Krishi Vikas Yojana, and in that scheme, were uh, two warehouses have been constructed, 1,000 metric tons of capacity, and Baramulla and Doda. And along with that, we have number of schemes. Right now, we have Sahakar 22, but I'm not sure whether it's being implemented in Jammu and Kashmir or not. And in that, we have a 7 pilot program of Government of India. They want, and it was also said that the Government of India want to make use of cooperatives to double the farmers' income through Sahakar 22.
All right. Are you aware of the term youth Sahakar?
Yes, sir. Yuva Sahakar, yes, sir.
Yes. What is that?
So it's a scheme in which the new it will promote the entrepreneurship in cooperatives. There will be 1,000 crores of fund which will be provided to the youth for setting up new ventures. And in that, there will be some more concession to the cooperatives which are women only, or in which SC, STs have membership.
Okay, Shakir, what are your hobbies?
So actually, I watch cricket. I used to play cricket, and I play cricket in my free time. Otherwise, if I get time, I will watch cricket. Nowadays, only that's it. I don't do any hobby, anything like that.
Okay. Since you watch cricket and you like to play cricket, can you tell me
Yes.
what a silly position is?
What's that? I couldn't
What
hear
is
you.
what is a silly position in cricket?
Silly.
Yes.
So actually, I've heard about silly point.
Yes. What would be that?
It's a position is a fielding position, sir.
Yes. Where would that be?
Is in the front of the batsman.
Okay.
Yeah, we usually use it in the test cricket.
What is dolly in cricket?
Dolly
Yes.
is an easy catch, I guess.
Okay. Very nice. All right. Let's conclude the session. कैसा लगा आपको? How was your performance?
सर ठीक था, पर आई डोंट नो, थोड़ा कम हो जाना चाहिए था सर.
हुँ।
टर्म्स थी वो।
क्या लग रहा है आपको कहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही है?
सर, मुझे तो लगता है कि कुछ टर्म्स है जो मुझे अभी आ नहीं रही है, और थोड़ा अपना एरोस्पेस का देख लेना पड़ेगा थोड़ा-सा। देख तो लिया था मैंने, पर थोड़ा ब्लैक आउट हो गया था मैं अभी, जहाँ पे आपने पूछा था कि वो क्या बोलते हैं इसको, थर्ड स्टेज में हम क्रायोजेनिक क्यों यूज़ करते हैं? उस टाइम पे थोड़ा ब्लैक आउट हो गया, मैंने पढ़ा हुआ था ये सब, पढ़ा है मैंने।
थर्ड
और
हम क्रायोजेनिक और लिक्विड को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं ना उनकी उनकी कब उसका
हाँ
ये
सर,
करना तो वी हैव टू पुट अ
मतलब
सैटल पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट तो कंट्रोल हमें ज़्यादा चाहिए उसको।
यस सर, एक्चुअली वही तो रीज़न है, लिक्विड का वही रीज़न है, लिक्विड इंजन का वही एक इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट भी है।
हुँ।
और सर, मुझे लगता है कि आप मुझे बताइए सर, मेरा जो मैं जब बात करता हूँ तो तेज़ बोलता हूँ क्या
देखिए,
सर?
मैं आपको कुछ रिव्यू देता हूँ। मैंने जो इसमें कुछ पॉइंट्स निकाले। सबसे पहले मैंने बीच-बीच में लैंग्वेज चेंज की। मैंने पहले इंग्लिश में शुरू किया, फिर मैंने हिंदी पूछा, फिर मैं वापस इंग्लिश
यस,
पे गया। वो मैंने
यस सर,
डेलिबरेटली इसलिए किया बिकॉज़ मैं देखना चाहता था कि आप क्या करेंगे। तो पहले तो
बिल्कुल सर,
बिल्कुल सही हुआ, इंग्लिश पे आपने इंग्लिश बोला, फिर जैसे-जैसे मैंने हिंदी किया, फिर आपने भी हिंदी बोलना शुरू किया। फिर मैंने इंग्लिश जब वापस से शुरू किया, उसमें आपने एक क्वेश्चन में हिंदी में जवाब दिया। सो करना ये है कि जिस लैंग्वेज में सवाल पूछेंगे, उसी लैंग्वेज में जवाब देना है। ये चीज़ आपको याद रखनी है, पहली बात।
बिल्कुल स
सेकंड मैंने आपको आपका ओपिनियन माँगा, तो इट विल नॉट बी गुड कि अगर आप बोलेंगे कि सर मेरा कोई ओपिनियन नहीं है, ठीक है? आपने बोला कि मैं आई हैव नो ओपिनियन ऑन दिस। सो आपने जो उसके बाद बोला कि जैसी ये रिकमेंडेशन आएगी, तब मैं बेहतर तरीके से बता पाऊँगा कि मेरा ओपिनियन क्या होना चाहिए। पर स्ट्रेट अवे ये बोल देना कि मेरा कोई ओपिनियन नहीं है इस पे, मुझे लगता है कि वो थोड़ा हार्श हो जाएगा। उसके अलावा आप अच्छा करते हो जब आपको गेस करना होता है तो आप कहते हो कि कैन आई मेक अ गेस और इफ यू अलाउ मी टू मेक अ गेस और आपने ये 2-3 बार रिपीटेडली किया कि जब आपने पूछा कि कैन आई मेक अ गेस उसके बाद आपने मेरे यस बोलने का इंतज़ार नहीं किया, ठीक है?
यस सर,
आपने बोला
ठीक
कैन आई मेक अ गेस और आपने गेस कर भी लिया। यू डिडन्ट वेट फॉर मी टू से यस और नो, ठीक है? तो
ओके सर,
एक पॉइंट लगा, नॉलेज आपकी अच्छी है, इवन रिगार्डिंग योर ओन सब्जेक्ट आपकी अच्छी नॉलेज है, उसमें ज़्यादा टेक्निक को नहीं जाएँगे बिकॉज़ जितना हमने खींचा इसको एरोस्पेस को या जितना हमने इसको आपके इंटरनेट ब्लॉकेज हाँ, एक और चीज़ आपने जो मुझे लगी, आपने बात की प्रिपरेशन पे बात उठी 2019 में फिर इंटरनेट ब्लॉकेज हुआ और ये जब वर्ड आप इस्तेमाल करेंगे तो आपको समझ लेना चाहिए, मैं क्या
ओके
कर
सर,
रहा हूँ ये, ठीक है ना? इंटरनेट
बिल्कुल,
ब्लॉकेज से फिर आप चले गए फंडामेंटल राइट पे, तो यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट फंडामेंटल राइट पे सवाल होगा। उसपे आपने
बिल्कुल सर,
पब्लिक ऑर्डर बोल दिया तो पब्लिक ऑर्डर पे फिर सवाल था। उसी में आपने इंटीग्रिटी बोल दिया, फिर इंटीग्रिटी पे सवाल आ गया। ठीक है, फिर प्लानिंग बोल दिया आपने, फिर पीडीएस बोल दिया, आपने सोशलिज्म बोल दिया। तो यू हैव टू बी वेरी जुडिशियसली इस्तेमाल करना है कि मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ
बिल्कुल
और
सर,
जो भी
बिल्कुल,
आप वर्ड बताएँगे उसी पे नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन होगा। तो वो थोड़ा ध्यान
सही
में
है,
रखना, जो चीज़ें बता रहा हूँ, क्या मैं उस पे बात कर सकता हूँ अगले 1 मिनट के लिए या नहीं? ठीक है ना? बस वो
सही,
ध्यान रखना है। नॉलेज आपकी अच्छी है, ओवरऑल जनरल आपका अच्छा है। कोऑपरेटिव सेक्टर में जैसे भी आपने कहा, जैसे मैंने आपको इसका इनका ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर माँगा, तो आपने हर हर नाम के पीछे मिस्टर या मिस लगाया, सो दैट वाज़ आल्सो गुड। ओवरऑल परफॉर्मेंस अच्छी है। आई बिलीव कि बस ये कुछ जो मैंने पॉइंट्स आपको बोले, जस्ट वर्क ऑन दिस और
बिल्कुल,
प्रिसाइज़ली हम काफ़ी लंबा इंटरव्यू हुआ। इसको अगर थोड़ा कट शॉर्ट भी वो लोग करेंगे, वहाँ 10-15 मिनट का ही होगा मैक्सिमम। तो उसमें यू विल इमर्ज एज़ अ पॉजिटिव पर्सनैलिटी आई गेस, इंशाल्लाह।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच। एक्चुअली सर, मुझे मैं आज कल जम्मू आया था, तो ऐसे ही मैं सर्च कर रहा था इंटरव्यू के लिए, तो मैंने वहाँ पर क्विंटेंसेस क्लासेस के देखे, तो फिर मैंने कॉन्टैक्ट किया कि अगर मुझे पहले पता होती तो मैंने पहले ही ये कह दिया होता सर।
अच्छा, अच्छा ठीक।
पहले पता नहीं चला मुझे
चलिए,
सर।
वी विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर
थैंक यू
टुमारो।
सर।
कल ही है ना आपका
एक्चुअली
इंटरव्यू?
यस सर, बिल्कुल सर, कल सुबह 9 ओ क्लॉक।
ठीक है, इंशाल्लाह। आप फॉर्मल्स में जाएँगे, है ना?
हाँ जी सर, एक्चुअली एक ही है ना, तो अगर मैं अभी वो पहन लूँगा तो प्रेस-वेस खराब हो जाएगा, इसीलिए मैंने नहीं पहना। वो भी बोलने वाला था मैं सर।
अच्छा किया आपने, तो मैं समझ गया था बिकॉज़ मुझे लगा कि आप जम्मू में ही हो। ठीक है
यस सर।
विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट इंशाल्लाह आपका क्वालीफाई होगा, मे बी वी कैन हैव अ चैट देन।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू
और
सो मच।
एंड वन मोर थिंग शाकिर, जो हमारा सेशन हुआ है, ये पूरा रिकॉर्डेड सेशन है। इसकी हम
यस सर।
आपको एक लिंक लिंक भेजेंगे अभी, एक आधे घंटे में आपको इसकी, आधे 1 घंटे में आपको इसकी एक लिंक मिलेगी, यूट्यूब की
ठीक है,
लिंक होगी वो। उसमें आप पूरा फिर से देख लेना एक बार, जो भी हमारी कन्वर्सेशन हुई ना, आप अपने
ठीक है
आप को
सर।
देखना कि मैं कहाँ बेहतर कर सकता हूँ और, ठीक है
सही है
ना?
सर, ठीक।
ये
सर और
अब
एक सवाल सर।
जी, जी।
सर शुड आई एक्सपेक्ट कि जो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज़ एक्ट जो 2 है ना हमारे, उसके एक-एक प्रोविजंस में जानना मतलब अभी मैंने पढ़ा हुआ है, ऐसा नहीं है मैंने पढ़ा हुआ है वो, पर
जी।
मतलब आई डोंट रिमेंबर ऑन द टिप ऑफ माय टंग कि कौन-सा प्रोविजन क्या है। शैल आई गो थ्रू
देखिए,
दैट वन्स
मैं
अगेन?
आपको अपने एक्सपीरियंस से बता सकता हूँ, अगर आप एक अच्छे कैंडिडेट हैं और आप अच्छे जवाब दे रहे हो, तो आपको अच्छे सवाल आएँगे, बिकॉज़ उनको मज़ा आएगा आपको सवाल पूछने में। ठीक है ना?
सही है
तो
सर।
अगर वो
जी।
पूछ भी रहे हैं ना कुछ स्पेसिफिक और बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट, और वो कंटीन्यूअसली सवाल पूछे, इसका मतलब ये है कि उनको मज़ा आ रहा है। वरना कुछ ऐसे कैंडिडेट्स होते हैं, प्रिसाइज़ली मैंने भी फेस किया, वो मैं काफ़ी सारे बच्चों का इंटरव्यू कर रहा हूँ। कभी ऐसा होता है कि भई ये कब जाएगा इधर से? ठीक है ना? तो
सही है
वो
सर,
क्या
हाँ।
होता है कि अगर आप अच्छा कर रहे हो ना, तो वो आपको अगर पूछेंगे भी स्पेसिफिक सवाल, उनको मज़ा आ रहा होगा और आप उसको आई डोंट नो करके भी हटा सकते हो। स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजंस पे सवाल हुए हैं। मैंने कुछ बच्चों से बात की, स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजंस पे भी सवाल हुए हैं। लाइक कितने प्रिसाइज़ली कितने लोग चाहिए अकॉर्डिंग टू सेल्फ रिलायंट एक्ट, कितने लोग चाहिए आपको कोऑपरेटिव बनाने के लिए, फिर उसमें क्या-क्या प्रोविजंस है। प्रोविजन पे भी सवाल हुए हैं। तो वो तो तभी होता है जब आपको मज़ा आता है ना, तो आप उसमें और ज़्यादा ना
यस,
खोदने की
बिल्कुल,
हाँ, कोशिश करते
बिल्कुल,
हैं।
बिल्कुल
तो
सर।
वो पॉज़िटिव ही होगा आपके लिए।
ठीक है सर, मतलब एक बार मैं सोच रहा था कि देख लूँ थोड़ा-सा 1 घंटा पहले।
हाँ, 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 वो देख लेना, वो दोनों एक्ट्स देख लेना, फिर देख सकते हैं, ठीक है?
ठीक ठीक है सर,
ओके,
थैंक यू सो मच।
ऑल द बेस्ट। थैंक यू।
अल्लाह हाफ़िज़, अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।